I'm doing a VR for my very good friend Chad, the Fatman.
Well, I say, hello there.
I'll put a link to his channel in the box below. He's having a giveaway contest and he wants us to do a video response, a bit of a show and tell of our favourite weapon. Now straight away, plenty of you will have realised that as I'm in England, there's a lot less scope to have a favourite weapon than there is for our friends in the States. As well as having quite restrictive carry laws, no lock knives, sub 3-inch blade slip joints only, and even then you'd be in trouble in schools and hospitals and nightclubs and pubs with a perfectly legal pocket knife. It's difficult to actually have a favourite weapon because with that as the baseline, it's even worse, because although you can carry a Swiss Army knife in public subject to those specifications, you're not allowed to carry anything with intent to use it as a weapon. So for example, if I was out the front of the house fixing the gate or maintaining the fence and I had this venerable old hammer or quite a tatty, well, fundamentally quite good quality chisel, there wouldn't be a problem. They're not illegal in themselves, and in context, perfectly justified. However, if I was a teenage scrote hanging about on a street corner with a bunch of other teenage scrotes, and I had one of them stuffed inside my shell suit, the gentleman of the constabulary would not look favourably, because in that scenario, what other reason would I have for carrying a chisel other than the intent to use it as a weapon? If we look just at home defence, so we're staying out of the public realm, the rules are still quite blurred. In English law you have the right of self-defence and you have the right to use reasonable force, but there's no strict definitions any further than that. And should you find yourself in a situation where you're being prosecuted because you attacked somebody in your own home, you're pretty much relying on the common sense of the judge and jury. For example, there was a case a couple of years ago, not too far from me, where I think 4 armed men broke into somebody's house in the night, about 11:30 I think it was, and the homeowner, in the struggle to defend himself and his family, fatally stabbed one of the intruders with a large kitchen knife. In that situation, although it had to go to court and he had to be tried for murder because he killed somebody, he was fully acquitted. The self-defence was accepted. Although he had a large kitchen knife, well, he was in the kitchen and it was to hand, so there's no real way to suggest prior intent. And indeed, until the intruders broke into his house, he had no way of knowing that he was ever going to need to defend himself. But there again, that was a particular example. Somebody in the kitchen where there happened to be a kitchen knife. A lot of people do home defence VRs and wave the big choppers about. Kukris, Kershaw Camp 10s, machetes, Golocks, things like that. And I'm not sure in a home defence scenario you'd get away with using this to defend yourself. Because although the self-defence side might be easy to prove because they have broke into your house in the middle of the night and they're all wearing masks, why would you necessarily have something like this to hand in the few seconds you've got to realise what the situation is and defend yourself? I don't need this as a tool. I don't have a garden. Similarly, a machete. A baseball bat. I don't play baseball. Why else would I have a baseball bat hung by the bed? Which I don't. So I think the prior intent argument may stick. Because although you didn't know you were going to get invaded, you were clearly keeping these around as weapons. Although in my case it's just part of my collection, because I think the kukri is an important knife. We've got the long-standing cultural connections with its origins through the Gurkhas. So what could I possibly choose as my favourite weapon, given that I'm not allowed to have one? And if I ever actually needed to defend myself, I'd have to have a pretty watertight case. Well, I think fundamentally it's got to be something that you're allowed to carry in public, anywhere you want. Because if you haven't got it with you, it's no bloody use. And also it needs to be something that you could demonstrate at any time, in any situation, that you have a good reason to have it with you. And also it would need to be something that, should the worst happen, would be quite effective. So, what would I choose? Well, it's simple. Since I was ill, 18 months ago, whatever it was, I've been quite strongly mobility impaired. All the muscles in my legs are just about under my control, but they pretty much do what they want most of the time. So I walk with a stick. Just a fairly standard walking stick. And should it come to it, this would be my weapon, simply because I would have it with me. I need to take it wherever I go because I need it, and I'm not allowed anything else. I think it will be quite effective. It's solid beech, 3 foot long, quite stiff being beech, and depending on the situation we've got the softer, blunter rubber persuading end, or we've got the harder insisting end. And of course anybody who's done any martial arts or watched any martial arts films will know that used well, a decent 3 foot stick can be devastating. So that is my VR for my mate Chad. I've got to keep my fingers crossed now, because one of the stipulations was he wanted the video to be more than 5 minutes, and I haven't been timing myself. So I'm just waffling a little bit at the end just to pad it out, and if there are a bunch of still photos at the end of different weapons, it's because I haven't hit the 5-minute mark. But go and check out Chad's channel, the Fatman. He's a really, really nice fella. He's got a heart of gold. He'll do anything for anybody. And he's a funny fella as well. He's good company. So, thanks for watching. Stay safe.